Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on sportstalksc.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil, Chris, and Pat with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And what an edition of Sports Talk it's going to be tonight. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a beautiful day. What a great time to be with us here on Sports Talk. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel. Fired up, wired up, geared up, ready to go tonight. We'll welcome in Mike Houston, head football coach at East Carolina. We know him better as the former head coach at the Citadel, where he did a fabulous job in a short amount of time. Then he went to James Madison and just, he won some national championships. And now he has the job of trying to make East Carolina competitive in the AAC and also competitive right there in their own state and with their own neighbor here in Columbia, the Gamecocks, who'll be going to, is it Ficklin Stadium?
Ficklin Stadium.
Ficklin Stadium. Last time I was there for that baseball regional a couple of years ago, they were adding more seats and upgrading the luxury suites. They were very proud of what they were doing. I tell you what, I used to make jokes about East Carolina. A lot of people make jokes about Greenville, North Carolina, but once you go there and visit and see what they've got and take a look around the town, you'll be shocked about what a nice place that is.
I have been to Greenville once or twice. Yeah, the joke is once you get off the interstate, if you're headed that direction, and part of North Carolina, I grew up in the western part of the state, and the state is so long, I don't think people realize just how long the state of North Carolina is. But once you get off the interstate, you think, oh, gosh, I'm almost here. It's like going, it's like going to Myrtle Beach. When you get off 95, you've still got another hour and 15 minutes to go. Same thing here. Once you go off the interstate and you start going through the four-lane highways through eastern North Carolina, you think you'll never get there. But you're right. Greenville is a nice town, and what a fan base. And I think I'm correct in this. Mike Houston is 1-0 as the head coach against the Gamecocks, correct? He beat him when he was with the Citadel.
I think you're correct, and I think you are pissing off Gamecock fans by bringing that up. First
Not
thing
my intention.
on the show,
Not my
you had
intention.
to bring up the Citadel.
Not my intention.
You
but
know,
I'm sure
if there
he probably
had not
will.
been a motion penalty on a wide receiver, and I think he just flexed at the line of scrimmage, Gamecocks would have won that game. Remember, they had a touchdown called back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because somebody moved up on the line of scrimmage. But Mike Houston, he has done a great job everywhere he has been. You look at his record. Now, East Carolina took over a tough situation, 4-8, and then 3-6. So that's still to be determined. But James Madison, 14-1, 14-1, 9-4, 37-6, 22-2 in conference play there, and he won a national championship in his first year and played for it in his second year at the Citadel. 14-11, 9-5 in the Southern Conference, and won a Southern Conference championship in 15, and went to the playoffs and left behind a really good team that Brent Thompson took over, and they had a nice long successful run there that has been kind of stymied of late. Before that, he was at Lenoir-Rhyne, where he went 29-8 and was known for running the football. They led Division II in rushing almost every year.
And he played for a national championship there, too. He took the Bears to the D2 national title game.
Yes.
I mean, the guy, you're right. The guy has won everywhere he has been, and I don't see why he won't be a success at East Carolina either. But he's certainly got his work cut out for him to turn that program around. I'm not sure it'll be quite as easy as maybe turning James Madison back around. They've always had a pretty good tradition at the FCS level, and certainly the Citadel. But Lenoir-Rhyne was not anywhere close to as good. They had some really, really good teams back, I think, in the 70s. But in terms of when he took over, they had been down for a while. He turned them into a powerhouse, did the same thing with the Citadel and James Madison. And I would imagine that East Carolina is happy to have him.
Yes, I would think so. And, that's a great place to make a living in terms of establishing yourself as you are coming up in the coaching ranks. And you can make yourself a big winner there and stay there for a long time and be happy, or use that to go to a higher level if you desire. I don't know what his desires are. He's still relatively young in his head coaching career, but that could be a good place to establish your roots and really build something special if that's what you want to achieve. And then at 7:05, former Gamecock shortstop Joey Pancake. It's National Pancake Day here on Sports Talk. Maybe not around the world, but here on Sports Talk, it's National Pancake Day. We welcome Joey Pancake, the native of Easley, and one of the all-time greats at South Carolina in baseball. South Carolina celebrating the back-to-back national championships this year, 2010, 2011. He joined the program in 2012, so he played in the College World Series, and it's one of the reasons we wanted to have him on was to talk about his experience in Omaha back in 2012. And then, of course, South Carolina was still good the next couple of years, but did not have as much success. He finished his career at South Carolina with a 292 batting average, 18 home runs, right on the button, 100 RBIs for his college career. So he was a really good player, and I think he played a little bit of professional baseball. Certainly had his eyes on the major leagues at one point, but that didn't work out. Now he's in private business here in South Carolina. So his batting averages, he went 264 as a freshman, 311 as a sophomore, 303 as a junior before he was a seventh-round draft pick after that. So he'll be joining us at 7:05. We got recruiting coming up, a lot of stuff going on. USC getting ready for a big recruiting weekend. They've got about a dozen official visits coming in this weekend. So we'll talk more about that. Tomorrow night, new Gamecock basketball commitment, Zachary Davis, will be with us out of Denmark Olar. Denmark Olar, they have produced some talent over the years, such as a guy named Larry Davis, a guy named Dave Dickerson. Now they got a guy named Zachary Davis coming out of there. So he'll be with us tomorrow night. So we got a lot of good stuff coming your way tonight and tomorrow night. Also tomorrow night, of course, we'll have Jeff Owens on the NASCAR scene and our man George Bryan III talking birdies and bogeys around South Carolina. Anything messing with your mind tonight, Mr. Bergen, that you want to throw out there before we jump into other stuff?
Well, I will say this, and I don't like to brag very often, but I had a chance to run over to Coastal Carolina today and visit with the staff over there and pick up the Sun Belt Championship football ring that they got for me.
Mm-hmm. How big is it?
Well, if I can put it up on the screen here so people can see
nice.
it. I know everybody who is listening on radio, this makes for fantastic radio, so I will try and describe it as well. Mm-hmm. It's my hands are below average size, so it basically goes from my knuckles on my hand itself up to my knuckle on my third finger. But the thing is huge. And it's black and teal, as you might imagine, the color of the ring. And in the middle, in an oval shape, sort of a football. I'm assuming, Phil, these are not real diamonds. If they are, I'm going to make sure I do something with
what's
this
the test
other than
for
just
that?
leave it in the house.
What's the test for that? Is it do you bite it? Is that what you do to test if it's a real diamond?
That's gold. That's actually gold.
Oh, that's gold.
Yeah, you bite gold, and it's soft enough, a metal that it should bend. But I'm going to assume these aren't real diamonds. But nonetheless, it looks really, really nice. And in the middle is a gold Chanticleer, the logo. And on the side, on one side, it has Coastal Carolina and their record and a picture of the stadium. And on the other side, it's got my last name and radio. And then also the Cure Bowl logo, which was the bowl game that Coastal participated in. And on the top of the ring says Sunbelt Champions. And on the bottom, Shots Up. And inside, of course, had to put the football team's motto, which is BAM, which is something Joe Mowgli brought into the program, which stands for Be a Man. And that's sort of the life lessons that they teach there. So I just wanted to thank publicly Jamie Chadwell and his staff, because of all the people that are on the sidelines during a football game, I, as a sideline analyst, am the least important one, because you've got the staff, you've got the team, you've got the athletic training staff, you've got the medical staff, you've got the cheerleaders, you've got the game ops people, you've got the officials, and then here I am.
Yeah.
But Jamie Chadwell able to include our radio group in that, and I just thought it was really, really classy on their part. And same thing happened back in 2016 when the baseball team won a national championship. Gary Gilmore did the same thing for the radio crew. So I've always enjoyed working with Coastal Carolina and being able to be a part of their broadcast team, and that's part of the reason why they just have a classy staff.
That's fantastic. You're loading up on the bling. I got to tell you a quick funny story. So, I was never part of a broadcast team from that standpoint. However, in my early years at South Carolina Radio Network, we had the rights to the Gamecocks, and my boss, the great Don Williams, was, of course, part of the broadcast crew. Well, this particular season, the Gamecocks had a game scheduled with West Virginia on Thanksgiving Day in Columbia. Well, Don had to go to Alaska with the Gamecock basketball team because they were playing in the Great Alaska Shootout. So he's gone with them, and Bob Fulton, of course, is back to do the football game. And who do they put on the sideline to do the sideline stuff? Me.
Nice.
I'd never done that before. And, of course, I was very, very nervous. On top of that, Bob Fulton, and he made no secret about this, he hated throwing the broadcast down to the sideline guy, especially for field goals, because Bob thought a field goal was important and the play-by-play guy should call it. You can debate that, but that was his opinion. And Don's job, and Don became very well known for this because at that time, South Carolina Radio Network, the Gamecock Network, was the first, maybe the first, one of the first to actually have a sideline announcer. It kind of started with us, if I may say so, if I could step up there and make that claim. It kind of started with that broadcast crew. Having an announcer down for the coin flip to bring some more color and flavor to the broadcast. And Don was that guy. And Don was always behind the goalpost. Let's go down to Don Williams behind the goalpost. And so
that's a great Fulton, by the way.
I can do a little Fulton. But to make a long story short, I thought to myself, okay, they're going to throw it down to you a couple of times and you just update injuries and just stay out of the way and just make sure you do things you're supposed to do. And in that game, if my memory's right, there were 6 field goal attempts. I mean, every time I'm turning around, they're throwing it down to me. And Bob's like, let's go down to Phil Cornblatt under the goalpost, Phil. To midfield, out at midfield. And back then, I think the stadium sat about 65,000 or so. I don't think it was the fully expanded version they have now. But even that, when the Gamecocks came running out onto the on that, and for what it's worth, that was my one moment of working with Mr. Fulton, the great Bob Fulton, and having my opportunity to do a little calling of the action. I'll never forget Don's call of the '86 Clemson Carolina game when Scotty Hagler went down to kick the game-winning field goal. It was a tied game, and he hooked it badly left. And Don's call was, "It's no good. It never had a chance." Kind of like one of his tee shots. We'll be right back.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
No air balls, no bricks, nothing but net with Founders Federal Credit Union. Our full-service line of financial products gives you all the tools you need for financial success. And you'll love being with us as much as we love serving you. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our more than 30 locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax with Founders. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Enjoy life to the fullest with tasty peanuts that pack a lot of flavor. When it comes to eating peanuts, the research is clear. Peanuts improve your health. Peanuts, a snack that gives back. Crack some open today for a nutritious, sustainable, and earth-friendly treat. Be sure to stop by your local grocery store produce section to pick up a bag of roasted in-shell peanuts. Brought to you by the South Carolina Peanut Board. Visit aboutpeanuts.com for delicious peanut-based recipes.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Hey, folks, more. It's free up.
So glad we're. Wow, a whole album of that.
I'm calling it Didgeridoo-da-day.
You're freaking me out, Dirk.
This one's for you, Tina.
And that's all from the South Carolina Education Lottery. Tell your tiny story at tellyourtinystory.com.
The future of golf is waiting for you at the Players Club. Rain, shine, or after dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Player practice with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit maincoursesc.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
All right, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. Did you know that since 2002, more than $572 million in lottery proceeds have been used to fund Palmetto Fellow scholarships for the state's college-bound students? Learn more about the South Carolina Education Lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/education wins. Playing for fun is a win for education. We'll update.
Phil, may I jump in here real quick before we get to calls? Kendall Rogers is just now reporting the LSU has found its new baseball coach, actually hiring Jay Johnson from Arizona to take over.
That's a fine hire.
2 College World Series appearances in 6 years with the Wildcats. Pretty good pickup for LSU, I would think.
I would say. And now the Arizona job is a prime job. And that comes open unless they promote from within. All right, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Let's go to Stephen in Lexington. Get us rolling on those phone lines tonight. Stephen, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, Phil. I'm doing well.
Good.
If name, image, and likeness wasn't a train wreck already, to hear that the Kentucky governor has now said that in his state that their athletes will be represented by agents, and as slimy and as crooked as the agents are, and getting an 18-year-old kid out of high school to sign with you. And I know because I used to live with a USC football player that Tank Black made multiple trips to my apartment and bought multiple cars. now there's going to be no hiding it, and it's just going off the rails. It's crazy. But what a double standard. So the NIL, I mean, name, image, and likeness. You sign a letter of intent to go to a university. They're committing to you to pay for your room and board, pay for your clothes, pay for your travel, pay for your food, dietitians, physical therapy, everything that the normal student does not get.
But they don't
What is the difference?
They don't get anything, Stephen. Don't you know the argument is they just don't get anything.
No. So what is the difference then from someone who is recruited by the military that goes and signs up for a branch of the Navy or Air Force or Marines? Do you think they can leave the base and go do advertisement jobs? And it's these politicians that are promoting this. Do you know any politicians that can sign a bill or give a bunch of money to Lockheed Martin and then go out and do commercials for them? Where's the double standard that, you sign a commitment to do a job and you honor certain rules and regulations in that job? And it's just a double standard. It's crazy.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, the comeback on the athletic thing compared to the other examples that you made was that, these players, they make a lot of money for these schools. And the argument is they need to be, paid for the money that they make. And my argument has always been they're getting paid. Like you ran down the laundry list of things that athletes get at all levels who are on scholarship, even your Division II smaller schools who give scholarships. They give the players the room and board, the tuition, the medical care, the tutoring help, all the academic needs that they could ever want, and on down the line until you reach the point where you're at a non-scholarship situation. I mean, that's what the scholarship generally will spell out. Now, again, as we've talked about this week, the NCAA, of course, was so far one way, Chris, and how they handle the athletes that now it's blowing up in their face. And it's hard for the NCAA to save face because their reputation is so bad. Reputation is so bad as an organization because of how they handle things over all these decades, that they just hadn't been so strong-handed for 50, 60 years in dealing with these athletes, been a little bit more lenient, given a little bit more here and there. They might not be losing this battle today at every place they turn. Now, I know last night after we went off the air, Mark Emmerich, the head of the NCAA, the president, said that they're working on interim rules after the latest loss in court, and they are looking to get something done here pretty soon, pretty quickly, in July, to go ahead and allow. Oh, the thing that they came out with was, if you're in a state, if you're an athlete in a state where they don't have a state law providing this, you can go ahead and do your thing with the NIL, and you're not going to face any sort of NCAA punishment or investigation or anything like that. They're letting that go. So I know that was a concern across the country for those states that had not yet implemented. But as Stephen just said, Kentucky, their governor, he took this wasn't something that went through their legislature. He took an executive order to get this done because I'm sure he heard from Louisville and Kentucky and the other schools in his state that, hey, we're at a disadvantage here with, Ohio, maybe. I guess Ohio State, the state of Ohio already has it in place, I believe, maybe. Neighboring states or other states that they recruit against. And that's what it all goes back to. And they're like, we got to go ahead and get this done so that we can tell recruits, hey, yeah, we've got NIL in our state, so come on.
And that's what South Carolina is ultimately, I think, going to have to do as well, with our law not going into effect until July of next year. University of Florida today, Phil, actually had to come out and mention this is something along the lines Stephen mentioned. And I'm going to toss it back to Pat in a second because Pat brings up a really interesting point that we need to make sure is stressed on this. But the University of Florida has told boosters, quote, they may not compensate or arrange compensation to a current or prospective athlete for her or his name, image, and likeness. Now, if you're running a car dealership and you happen to be a Gamecock fan in Columbia, you don't think you're going to try and skirt that rule? to help out a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to enforce, and how are you going to enforce it? There's really nothing to enforce, because the first time the NCAA steps in and tries to limit something, you know what's going to happen? Lawsuits. And that'll bust it wide open. They can't step in and try and do anything the way I see it. And we'll be back.
On-Point weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's weather forecast. A few clouds roll in, but we'll stay dry overnight. Our low dipping to 64. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. More clouds as the day moves along. Mild temperatures continue, a high of 83. Slight 20% chance of rain to go with it. Now for the weekend, showers possible Saturday and Sunday. High temps remaining in the mid-80s. I'm Kevin Cohen with your On-Point local weather.
Is that crack in your windshield or your house bothering you?
Have you been meaning to have it replaced but just can't find the time?
Call Absolute Glass, voted Lexington's best glass shop for 12 years in a row.
We repair and replace glass on all makes and models.
We're the only local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands, and we'll come to you to make the process quick and easy.
With new technologies and vehicles, we can recalibrate your vehicle back to new.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com to learn more about our auto, home, and business glass services. Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Bipartisan group of senators reaching a deal with President Biden on a $953 billion infrastructure plan that follows long negotiations. The agreement, with $559 billion in new spending, has rare bipartisan backing and could open the door to the president's more sweeping $4 trillion proposals at a later date. U.S. economy growing at a solid 6.4% during the first 3 months of 2021. Commerce Department says growth in the gross domestic product was unchanged from two previous estimates. In South Florida, search teams continue digging through the rubble of that 12-story condo that collapsed in Surfside. One death confirmed, 99 people are still missing. This is SRN News.
Are you looking for free checking and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to treat you like a human being. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Oh man, storm's coming. I need to be prepared. Where's my phone? Oh, there it is. All right, here's the Dominion Energy app with Face ID, and I am ready to go. That's right, folks. If those South Carolina storms hit, the new Dominion Energy mobile app is a must-have. So easy to use and convenient to have around. It's not just for power outages. With this app, you have instant access to all of your energy usage, too. Pretty cool stuff. Take it from me. Be prepared this season and download it today. So your home is your castle. I work hard all day. My reward is time at my home with my family, living comfortably. I don't want to worry for a moment about bugs and pests. I've had Palmetto Exterminators taking care of my home for 19 years. Now, that's a long time without worrying about pest control or infestation or termites, and that's because Palmetto Exterminators takes care of it all. Might not matter to some people, but you know what it does to me? They're family-owned. They've been doing this the right way for over 60 years. The staff is courteous. They're clean. They're totally professional. And you know, it's termite season. Palmetto Exterminators offers a free inspection. They'll customize the program to fit your needs and your family's budget. They offer a lifetime warranty with their termite agreement. Now, I speak from experience. Like I said, 19 years with the same company. I can't give a more glowing recommendation than the one I proudly give to Palmetto Exterminators. Online, palmettoexterminators.net, or call my guy, Ron Byers, 254-5833. That's 254-5833, Palmetto Exterminators.
People today, they could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have someone in your corner, right here in your community. That someone is AARP. Join us for free, fun, and informative virtual events like cooking demos, exercise classes, financial workshops, and more. It's never been easier to connect with your community. The younger you are, the more you need AARP. Learn more at aarp.org/near-you.
We've all come a long way together over the last year. Now we need everybody across Columbia to get vaccinated and put COVID behind us once and for all. COVID vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Everyone in the Benjamin family has gotten their vaccinations, even our youngest. Just like our family has done and like so many others across the Midlands, it's important to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. We're almost there. It's your shot, Columbia.
Okay, we're back on Sports Talk on this Thursday night. Good to have you with us. Joey Pancake at 7:05. Looking forward to having the former Gamecock infielder with us. Talk about the College World Series and other things related to baseball and what he's doing now. We'll have a full recruiting report coming up for you in a few minutes also. But our pleasure to welcome back to Sports Talk. He's been here before several times, back when he was the head coach of the Citadel Bulldogs. And now he's the head coach at East Carolina. A lot of wins between Charleston and Greenville, North Carolina on that resume. We welcome Mike Houston back to Sports Talk. Good evening, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Man, since the last time we talked to you, you added a national championship ring there at James Madison, played for another, and made the move to Greenville, North Carolina now. So it's been a steady climb. And how do you feel about the way things are going for you here early on still in your time in Greenville?
Well, it's been, obviously a great ride the last several years since I left the Citadel, and so many great memories of South Carolina and, my time down there in the Low Country. So, but, excited about the transition here at East Carolina. And, it's, like anything, when you take over a program that's had some struggles, it's the first year or so is a little bumpy, but, I'm really excited about where we are today as we sit here, and really like the student athletes we have in the program, and they're working very hard. We're all excited about the 2021 season.
Yeah, you got a bunch of people coming back, maybe about 20 starters or so as you try to rebuild that thing. Is that some people might say, well, that's a great thing, but if they're 20 returning starters and they're not, such great players, maybe it's not such a good thing. How do you view it, having all those returning starters coming back?
Well, we were the second youngest team in the country last year, so most of the guys that were playing for us last year were new players. There's a few that have been here for a while, but the bulk of the guys returning, the vast majority, are still very, very young. I really like our team. I like the guys coming back. They're going to be better. They're bigger, faster, and stronger than they were a year ago, and we're excited about the direction of the program because, we do feel like, we're much bigger, much faster, just a better football team than what we inherited in 2019.
Well, last year, maybe even in your first year there, you scored points, and last year you averaged over 30 points per game. It looks like where you've had your biggest concerns your first 2 years is defensively, giving up a lot of points. Are you going to be better on defense?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be, just being a year older. We came in, and, everybody has their emphasis as a head coach for a program. We came in and, there wasn't a huge emphasis put on, depth and, and a different scheme than what we played. So we didn't have, very many defensive personnel. I'm excited about the fact that we got good depth. I think we run much better. And like I said, we're going to be a year older. So, we played a lot of freshmen on defense last year, and, you're going to have some bumps in the road when you do that. But, they're all back. They know the scheme now. I think that, our coaching staff on that side has done a really good job, since they've arrived in Greenville. So we expect to see improvement.
You did win your last two games last season. You beat Temple. You beat SMU. Was that a sign of things starting to come together? And have you seen maybe the positive mojo from that carry over to this point?
Well, I thought we competed well last year. There's a couple more games in there where, you have and I know everybody gripes about calls, but we had a blown call that was ruled an incorrect replay overturn that cost us a game on the last drive of the game. We had a game we played without a lot of our starters due to COVID, that close loss. So our team last year was really, really close to being bowl eligible, and so I think the way we finished the season with the positive momentum that's carried into the off season, because the big thing with a young team is gaining confidence, and we entered the off season with confidence. Now we've got obviously a very, very challenging start this fall. We have a tough non-conference slate, but we're just excited to get out there and compete.
East Carolina head football coach Mike Houston with us tonight here on Sports Talk. As Coach pointed out, they opened the season on a Thursday against Appalachian State in Charlotte before hosting the Gamecocks on September the 11th in Greenville. And Coach, we were chatting with you before we got you on air, and you've been a success at the Division II level, at the FCS level, and now hoping to be a similar success at the FBS level. But as you've sort of moved up the ladder through your career, what have you seen as the biggest challenges at each stop, whether it be at the D2 level up to FCS or now FCS to FBS, or is it just as simple as football, no matter where you coach?
Well, the biggest difference is as you transition up is, just handling all the other stuff outside of football. It's, every time you move up a level, there's more things to manage, whether it's media responsibilities or, have guys that trust each other. We have guys that have a tremendous work ethic, and we have a group that's very tight knit with our coaching staff. So we're really, really excited because of all those factors.
Give us an idea as to how excited your players are, and certainly your fan base is, to get an SEC team to come in and play you guys on your home opener, even though you got a really tough, challenging opener against Appalachian and Charlotte. But with South Carolina coming in to kick off the home portion of your schedule, how big a deal is that in Greenville this year?
Well, I think that, both games are huge for us. And, the biggest thing with both of them is the fact that fans are allowed back in the stands. And, I think we have a great game day environment. I think it's one of the best game day environments in college football. And our fans have not been able to, be out here and see our team in, almost 2 years. So I think it's going to be a rowdy bunch. I think that they're going to be excited to have Dowdy Ficklen Stadium back open. And obviously having an SEC team come in here, what a great opportunity, great matchup. It's South Carolina has a tremendous tradition, and I respect that program so much. Even before Coach Beamer got there, Coach Spurrier and I are acquaintances, and certainly he did a tremendous job there. And we're excited to have them here, and can't wait for the matchup.
Talking with Mike Houston, head football coach at East Carolina, for a couple of more minutes here on Sports Talk. We appreciate it very much. Tell us about a couple of the key names to know on the offensive side, and a couple of key names to know on the defensive side. A couple of guys that you're going to be hanging your hat on here, that you'll be counting on to be big time players for you.
Well, I mean, I think we've got a lot, and but I think a few that people probably know. I mean, our quarterback Holt Nailers, he is experienced, and he's had some big games over the past couple of years. and has a lot of playmaking ability. Nobody works harder than him. Very intelligent player, and I think anytime you've got that kind of experience at quarterback, you got a shot. And so we're excited to have him. Our two young running backs are very talented. They're young, but they got a lot of playing time last year and did really, really well. So excited about them, and then our receiving core brings back a good bit of experience. With Tyler Snead and C.J. Johnson, two guys that have had some big games over the last 2 years. So I think we got some playmakers. Our offensive line is going to be drastically improved. So we feel good about what we have on that side of the ball. I think defensively, the most experience we have coming back is our linebackers position, where we have a couple of guys that started for several years there. Up front, those guys all, were kind of, trial by fire last year. We played a bunch of freshmen up front. So we have a bunch of experienced young guys now. But I'm really pleased with them and their development. And then, on the back end, I think we run much better the secondary than we did a year ago. So, those guys embrace how we want to play, and I think that gives us a chance.
Yeah. And I know your focus is on Appalachian here quite a bit, and it should be. That's your opener. You're going to be playing in that Mayo Kickoff Classic. Duke's Mayonnaise, the Duke's Mayonnaise Kickoff Classic. You guys are going to be setting the table for Clemson and Georgia to follow a couple of nights after that. So we're looking forward to that great weekend. And your focus is on Appalachian State for sure. And then South Carolina's that next week. But obviously you've done some preparation for the Gamecocks as well, you or your staff. And do you know what to expect from South Carolina? Is it maybe a little bit to their advantage here that they're brand new and you'll have game film from their opener, but are you going to have any kind of a feel for what to expect from them, you think?
You never know. I mean, I know Clayton White. He's done a great job at Western Kentucky defensively. So you think they'll be similar on the defensive side of the ball to what he's done in the past, but you don't know for sure. Offensively is a little bit of an unknown, but you look at the returning strengths, personnel-wise, and obviously, you have an extremely talented running back and a very good offensive line. So you would think that there's going to be, an emphasis on trying to run the football, but there is some unknown with a new coaching staff. We know a lot of those guys, and the one thing I know is they're going to do a great job. And I think Shane's a great hire for South Carolina. He's brought a lot of energy. He's brought a lot of excitement in recruiting. I mean, we see that already. Going up against them a good bit, and so I think that they'll have some wrinkles for us that we probably won't see in the opener. So we have to be prepared for everything.
Yeah, and especially really not knowing what their quarterback situation is going to be here in the summer and even going into their season. You don't know if it's going to be Luke Doty, who stands to be the starter right now, but who knows? It could be Jason Brown. It could be somebody else. Have you familiarized yourself to some degree with Doty, with Kevin Harris, with say Nick Muse, guys like that who could be obviously a couple of them will be key members of the offense, and Doty could be a third. Have you taken a look at them, and what do you think of them talent-wise?
Well, I mean, Luke, we remember him from recruiting, and obviously we signed a quarterback that same year. We signed Mason Garcia out of Carolina Forest that year. Mm-hmm. So I'm very familiar with him. He's a great athlete. Obviously won a lot of ball games in high school, and much like our freshman, he got thrown in there last year, and so he got a good bit of experience. So he's going to be much improved from that experience last year. Nick Muse, I've known since he was in high school, and obviously coached against him whenever I was at James Madison and he was at William and Mary, and know him, know his parents, and great player. So we're pretty familiar with the personnel, that they have on the offensive side of the ball.
How is Garcia doing for you?
Really well. He's really made great strides in the last year. He was forced into a starting role last year, probably before he was ready. Mm-hmm. But that experience was good for him. And he is, I'll tell you what, he looks the part. He is a big, strong, athletic guy. So we're excited about him. Holton, we've still got Holton for a couple more years, but Mason's going to be ready whenever his time comes, and I think he's got a huge upside.
Very good. Well, I know you're recruiting the state of South Carolina. You can't comment, but there was a young man here who went public yesterday, a good-looking defensive end out of Lake City, who announced a commitment to East Carolina. So you are recruiting this state and you're finding some success. And you well know that this state has really good players, and you can come in as East Carolina and probably find some hidden gems in this state that go back to your place and play well for you.
Well, obviously very familiar with the state, know a lot of the coaches down there. And, no matter where I've been, we've recruited South Carolina heavily, and I've had a lot of great players from there. So, we're going to continue to. I think, big thing with recruiting is relationships. And, I feel like, we have some of our strongest relationships in both of the Carolinas. So it's a good fit. But, yeah, we're going to be down there as much as we can, trying to get guys to come north a little bit.
Well, we look forward to being up there to watch that ball game. It should be a heck of a lot of fun to see the Gamecocks and the Pirates. They always play good games for the most part. It's a really good rivalry. It's an underrated rivalry. And I notice you don't have the Tar Heels, you don't have the Wolfpack, you don't have the Demon Deacons. Those other North Carolina schools, I think, are scared of you. That's the problem.
I don't know about that, but we do enjoy matchups against the regional teams. I think it's great for the universities. It's great for the fan bases because I would expect us to have a huge contingency of Gamecock fans here for that home opener. And I think anytime you can get the regional schools playing, I just think it's it's that much more excitement just because of the familiarity. So yeah, I hope we can continue the series.
It's a crime. It's a crime that you're not playing NC State because that is, I guess they're, to the Pirate fans, that's your biggest rival, NC State?
Hey, probably. There's not a whole lot of love lost for North Carolina either. So
well, I get that, yeah.
I think all those fan bases, they kind of feed off of each other. But yeah, it's a pretty good rivalry between us and State.
Yeah. Well, listen, we appreciate your time, and have a great summer. Are you going to be able to get back to the getaway down in Charleston? Or are you stuck in not stuck in Greenville, but you're going to be tied down working in Greenville?
Well, recruiting goes dead Sunday night, and so by Monday evening I'll be at the beach down in Charleston. So we're going to try to get down there for a little family time. I haven't seen the boys and Amanda very much this last month, so we're going to try to catch up next week down there. We'll be down there for the 4th.
Last thing, do you keep in touch with Coach Thompson a good bit?
Yeah, he was up here last weekend. We've remained close, and so always pulling for those guys. I made it to a Citadel game this spring. Got to see him play Chattanooga, and able to catch up with the general and the commandant and a lot of those alumni. So I'll tell you, that place is a special place, and I've got so many great memories, and so we enjoy getting back down there.
Well, yeah, and they're so close. They play teams so close, and a point here, a point there, their record could be reversed. Maybe this will be a great year for them coming up. So, well, good luck to you, and thank you so much for your time. We look forward to following you going into the season, and of course, the week of the game with South Carolina, we'll be hearing from you. So, thanks so much, and have a great summer.
No, thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you this fall.
Yes,
Take care.
Sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Mike Houston from East Carolina. They're just sort of laying in wait, I think, Chris. They got all these returning players. Like I mentioned, they got 20 starters returning. Like he said, they've got some depth now. And, they go in and beat Appalachian State to open the season. They'll come back home to face South Carolina with a ton of confidence. What South Carolina's got to do is handle their business with Eastern Illinois relatively easily, and so they don't have to show a whole lot. They can get by winning that game without showing a whole lot, and then be ready to unveil everything there at Dowdy-Ficklin. Let's get the name, Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium right. That would be to their advantage.
No question. And the one thing, when you're coming off a 2-win season, there aren't any trap games, right? East Carolina is situated right after the big emotional home opener and the game before Georgia when you open SEC play. But if you're coming off a bad season, I don't think the Gamecocks are going to be overlooking anybody, and they shouldn't, because as we pointed out earlier, Mike Houston is an exceptional coach. He has won. His track record says he is going to win at East Carolina. It may not be this year. It may not even be next year. But he has primed himself with recruiting to, I think, in a couple of more seasons, you're going to start looking at East Carolina in the American as a contender. That's a really good G5 league, too. Remember, Cincinnati's in that league with them.
Oh,
so, I mean,
Memphis,
they've got some outstanding, tough opponents in conference play. And I'm glad you asked him about Mason Garcia. You know, if it weren't for Luke Doty along the Grand Strand and probably Dutch Fork, I think a lot of folks around our state would know more about Mason Garcia, but they had the unfortunate side of the coin of having to run into Dutch Fork in the lower state finals, and they didn't get any further past. But he would put up highlights. You know, we get to see all the Grand Strand teams on the TV every Friday night, and Mason Garcia was prominently featured. He's a darn good quarterback, and Coach is right. At 6'4", he fits the bill as a quarterback. I would think he'll get a little more playing time than he did this past season.
Well, as he said, he had to throw him into the fire last season as a true freshman, and they've got somebody now settled in at the quarterback spot, so you can bring him along a little bit more slowly and train him and let him mature at his own pace. Pat, what you got?
I don't think he would have answered this if I had asked him this question, but this game we may see the script almost flip from back when he was coaching at the Citadel and he came to Columbia and defeated the Gamecocks back in 2015.
Got to keep bringing that up, don't you?
Well, I couldn't help but notice y'all did not ask him about that. But anyways, in that game, they dominated the time of possession. They had 350 rushing yards compared to only 72 for the Gamecocks. They ran more plays than the Gamecocks. And where I'm going with this is South Carolina in this game now has the far superior rushing attack. The passing game is still a bit of a question mark. We don't know what to expect yet. But in that game, they dominated the clock, slowed down the game to keep the Gamecocks off the field. This time, he has the high-powered offense. South Carolina has the running attack. We almost may see the script just totally flip from 2015.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the guy. You knew him at the Citadel and at Lenore Ryan as a guy that just loved to run the football, but he has transitioned to a guy that has no problem throwing it. Last year, Garcia was 10 of 23, 104 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. I got my Phil Steele book in today, and yours is on the way. How does he write so small? I mean, really, he
will tell you that's the only way. Yeah,
into 2 pages because the font is like, I don't know the name of the font, but it's like teeny small. It really strains my eyes. But the book is great. The book,
he would tell you
many years ago, and he's a buddy of yours. You've had him on your previous show a long time.
And he would tell you the reason he has to write that small is because of the amount of information he gets in. And I can't argue that point. I mean, if you read through, he'll have a breakdown of, I guarantee if you go through his segment on East Carolina, there will be a mention in there somewhere about Mason Garcia. I mean, that's how in-depth he goes with every team. I mean, it's a fabulous book. Anybody who just is sort of a college football geek like we are, I highly recommend Phil Steele's magazine.
Well, going back to East Carolina and didn't realize how far they have dropped. They haven't been to a bowl game since 2014. And their last 5 years, 3-9, 3-9, 3-9, 4-8, 3-6. So they haven't been good in a long time. Trying to remember, who was the coach there before Houston? Do you remember? Off the top of my head, I do not remember.
It starts, I think his first name starts with an R, and I just can't remember. Oh, gosh.
Probably somebody we should be familiar with.
It is.
He's got some people on his staff with ties to South Carolina. Steve Shankweiler.
Ruffin McNeil.
Ruffin McNeil. That's right.
I knew it. I knew it started with an R. And he just never
was one in
able
between,
to turn that around.
actually.
Oh, we had one in between.
Scotty Montgomery was there from 2016 to 2018. Right. Then he was let go, and David Blackwell served as interim coach.
Scotty Montgomery was the assistant coach at Duke, former wide receiver at Duke, and they brought him in, and that didn't go well. You're right. But they do have a couple of guys. Donnie Kirkpatrick, who was at South Carolina, is on that staff. And Steve Shankweiler, who was at South Carolina, is on that staff. And Dale Steele, Kevin Steele's brother, a Dillon native, is on that staff as the top football administrator type of guy. So there's some ties there, as there should be at East Carolina, ties to the state of South Carolina. We thank Coach Houston for being with us. Going to be a lot of fun to see that game played out between South Carolina and East Carolina up in Greenville, North Carolina. Top of the hour break. National Pancake Day here on Sports Talk. Joey Pancake coming up, and then recruiting.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. It is agonizingly slow and extremely dangerous work as search teams dig through the rubble of that condo building in Florida. One death confirmed, 102 people have been accounted for, but 99 more residents are still missing. Bipartisan group of senators reaching an agreement with President Biden on a $953 billion infrastructure plan following long talks. The $559 billion in new spending has rare bipartisan backing and could open the door to the president's more sweeping $4 trillion plan later on. The president says this was true bipartisan compromise.
5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, part of a larger group, has come together and forged an agreement that will create millions of American jobs and modernize our American infrastructure to compete with the rest of the world and own the 21st century.
Also at townhall.com, record heat is forecast in the Pacific Northwest over the coming weekend, raising concerns about wildfires and the health of people in a region where, quite honestly, many people do not have air conditioning. The National Weather Service has issued an excessive heat watch. It covers portions of Washington State, Oregon, and Idaho. In Washington, Governor Jay Inslee says if it gets that bad, there are plenty of places where people can sit down and cool off.
We do have open restaurants. We do have many of these places are open. They might be at 50% capacity, but I'm quite confident people can find activities or shelter, air conditioning if they want to. I don't think that'll be a difficulty.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Pete and Seth Talbot, the father and son founders of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now. Discount it to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefFactor.com.
Having your own home is awesome, but it's also a lot of work. The good news, finding help for your projects is easier than ever. Introducing Angie, the app that puts all your home care needs at your fingertips. Need a pro to fix that emergency leak? Maybe find someone to build a deck, or even set your seasonal tasks on autopilot. Angie can handle all that and more. Expert pros, hundreds of home projects, clear pricing, and the easiest way to book and pay in seconds. This is Angie, your home for everything home. Download the app today.
Well, the White House says it will provide Afghanistan with 3 million doses of Johnson & Johnson's vaccine to help with an outbreak fueled by the Delta variant. Announcement also comes one day before the president meets with Afghanistan's leaders at the White House. Authorities say nearly all COVID-19 deaths in the United States are now people who were not vaccinated, a staggering demonstration of just how effective the vaccines have been and are. And all U.S. adults have been eligible to get the shots since the 19th of April. A senior Russian diplomat warning Moscow will be ready to fire at intruding warships to protect its borders. The statement comes from the deputy foreign minister in the wake of a Black Sea incident in which a British destroyer sailed near Crimea. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-380-4452. 800-380-4452. That's 800-380-4452. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Ooh, I like when you press.
You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Good to have you with us. Once again, thanks to Mike Houston, East Carolina football coach, for being with us tonight here on Sports Talk. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll have the recruiting report. But, we got a lot of things happening in college baseball with the College World Series going on. In fact, they're in a rain delay right now. It's elimination night in Omaha with Texas and Virginia getting ready to play. Let's see. Last night, of course, you've got NC State waiting in the wings on one side and Mississippi State waiting in the wings on the other side. And let's see, last night it was Stanford who won last night.
No, Vandy won 6-5, scored twice in the bottom of the ninth, and a game winner. I don't know how you ever get over this, scoring on a wild pitch.
Oh, that hurts.
That's how Vanderbilt eliminated Stanford. I don't know how you as the pitcher, gosh, that's got to stick. We can ask Joey this, painful baseball memories, but that's got to stick with you forever, I would think.
Well, I wish I could admit to have been watching, but I was watching the Yankees and the Royals last night. And Yankees, once again, Chapman blew a save in the top of the ninth. I think that's like 4 blown saves for him. But the Yankees rallied in the bottom of the ninth to win it. So that put me in a good mood. So I was happy about that.
In the College World Series, that's 2 nights in a row an SEC school has broken their opponent's heart. And I'm guessing our friend in the upstate or along the coast, the bad boy, was not a fan of that.
He's not even aware. Like, he ain't aware. Anything that's happened from Tuesday to now, he's not even aware of it, I'm sure. So with all that in mind, South Carolina is celebrating and recognizing the 2010-2011 national championship teams. The 10-year anniversary, more or less, of the two of those. But don't forget, the Gamecocks played for the national championship again in 2012. 3 straight national championship series appearances for the Gamecocks, almost unprecedented. Well, probably is when you think about it in terms of since they went to the championship series format. I don't think anybody's gone to the championship series 3 years in a row. And a member of that third team to go for South Carolina, Joey Pancake, joins us here on Sports Talk. He was a standout shortstop as a freshman for the Gamecocks, played 3 years before being drafted in the 7th round. And now he is making a living in the business world over in the Lexington area. And Joey, it's great to have you with us. How you doing?
I'm great. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on the show with you guys.
Well, thank you. We were talking about trying to get a World Series connection on with us, and we thought about you, and Chris got in touch, and glad we could get you on the air because though you weren't part of the 10 and 11 teams, you were part of that 2012 team, and that team was pretty special too. You ran into a really good Arizona team in the championship series, but you guys picked right up where 10 and 11 left off.
Man, it was that was just an unbelievable experience to play with that group of guys that I got to play with. The older guys that had been there 2 years in a row, it definitely wasn't easy, but having their support and their leadership, it definitely felt pretty easy to get back there.
What do you remember best about your time in Omaha?
It probably, beating Arkansas 2 times in a row to get to that championship series. They were two hard-fought games, and although we came up short, we were happy to be there and proud of the results that we had that year with all the work that we had put in.
Yeah. When you got to the championship series against Arizona, what did y'all think of the Wildcats going in? I mean, as it turns out, they had some guys that go on and play in the majors, and they're still playing in the majors. And, of course, you guys did as well. But going into that championship series, how did you think you guys matched up with them?
I mean, honestly, as players, we didn't get to see tons of them playing. We saw some film here and there. But on paper, there was no doubt they were there for a reason. I mean, I think everybody they had in that lineup was sitting like 320 or better. They were a crazy good team on paper. That's for sure.
Yeah, I remember. I think Rife Snyder was one of their outstanding players. He's still in the major leagues, and he had a good series against you guys. And in fact, as I recall, wasn't there a little bit of a flare up between him and you guys? Something he said in the papers or something during the World Series. Do you remember that?
I do remember. I don't even remember exactly what was said, but you see a lot of stuff on social media and all that. It was something. It had something to do with South Carolina, and then little did he know he got drafted. I think it was the Yankees, and he ended up playing in Charleston. And
right.
I don't know how much of a warm reception that was when he got there.
Well, not from the Gamecock fans who were there. So, right. The Gamecocks had put together that incredible postseason run of undefeated games, of winning streak in the postseason that you guys carried on with you into 2012. What was it like as you guys extended that winning streak that I think still stands today in terms of NCAA tournament play?
Yeah, and honestly, it's not something that we thought about as players. We obviously we were there and we kept getting hot at the right time, and I was there for that 1 year of it, and we extended it, I guess, probably 8 games or so, and I think it ended at 22 games, which that's pretty impressive. It says a lot about the staff that we had and their ability to manage games.
Former Gamecock shortstop Joey Pancake with us here tonight on the Sports Talk. And Joey, as the World Series is going along now, do you still get caught up? Do you watch the games? Do you find yourself still maybe now transitioning from former player into a fan and continuing to watch college baseball?
I do. I'll tune. I haven't seen a game throughout the whole game, but I'll turn it on from time to time. I keep up with it on the apps on the cell phone, and I actually tuned in just in time to see one of my former roommates from Pro Ball get ejected. He's the Tennessee coach that got ejected the other day. So I was tuned in for 5 minutes, and I saw him get tossed, which I've seen that a few times in the minor leagues. So I got a good kick out of that and really enjoyed it. But they've been playing some really good ball out there. There have been a couple of games that weren't really close, but a few, like y'all mentioned before, winning on a wild pitch, and there's been several walk-offs and one-run games out there, so they're exciting to watch.
Brendan Beck of Stanford is the young man who threw that wild pitch last night. It was actually the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year. Joy, I am sure over your career you had a mistake, you made it short, or didn't hit a ball you should have, or that type thing. But how do you work through, especially a pitcher, when that was the last pitch you're going to throw this year? I mean, how do you get over that and move on?
That's a really tough one, and I'd be curious to see his numbers, but I'm willing to bet that he's not one that threw very many wild pitches if he's that well decorated, and that's one he's just going to have to shrug off and see what happens next. I'm not sure if he's a junior or a senior or what his chances are for pro ball, but hopefully he can find a way to get by that and just see what happens next in his career.
Joey Pancake with us, previewing and chatting about the College World Series and reminiscing on his days out in Omaha back in 2012. Joey, take us back to your high school days. You were the number one shortstop in South Carolina, third best high school prospect in the state. Clearly, at that time, USC and Clemson were playing as good a baseball as anybody in the country. I'm assuming you had offers to go anywhere you wanted to out of Easley. What steered you towards Ray Tanner in South Carolina?
Well, honestly, the biggest I've been a Gamecock fan my whole life, but probably the biggest factor was they were out there winning in Omaha, and that says a lot for a program. And I just thought I went and I spoke with Jack Leggett, and I respect him as a coach. He's a great guy. But I couldn't pass up the opportunity to play for Coach Tanner at South Carolina. And even though it only ended up being 1 year playing under him, Holbrook was really good to us as well. We had a chance we were one game away from going back to Omaha the year Coach Holbrook stepped in. So I had a great opportunity there, and those were truly 3 of the best years of my life.
Joey Pancake with us here, a few more minutes on Sports Talk. I wanted to ask you about that second year, the transition from Coach Tanner to Coach Holbrook, because Coach Holbrook, he was a guy that recruited a great deal of you guys. And, there's a different relationship from the recruiting standpoint to when you become the head coach and you have to make the tough decisions. What was that like for you? What'd you think of that first year under him when, like you said, you guys got to Chapel Hill, to North Carolina, you went to the third game of the Super?
Yeah, it actually carried over really well. We had, obviously, Coach Holbrook recruited my class and put us all together and did a really good job. We had some great baseball players that came in the same time that I did, and we were all really close, and we had a good relationship with him. And he just he let us go out and play, and we had a really good start that year, and even the following year, we had good starts to the season. But I guess we were just a couple hits shy, and maybe a couple.
First when Tanner got there and they got that first group 3 straight times to Omaha, and then your group just ahead of you and then with you to Omaha 3 straight times. Hard act to follow. What advice do you have for Gamecock baseball fans now, knowing how the game has changed and really how much more competitive it has become across the country?
Right. I mean, I love the intensity the Gamecock fans bring. I'm glad that they expect us to be in Omaha every year, because honestly, as a player, and I know our coaches, I could speak for them as well, we expect it too. That's ultimately the end goal, is we want to be in Omaha. And I always joke with people. They ask, "Oh, were you on the 10 or 11 teams?" And I always jokingly tell them, "Oh, no, I'm the one. I was on the team that let the city down." we came up a little short, but it does. It says a lot about the program that's been built there, and I hope they keep that intensity, and I hope that the players and the coaches that are there now, I hope they keep it, and that's still the goal. Being in the postseason is great, but going to Omaha is even better.
What's your impression of the third base hecklers?
Actually, I'm coaching out here at Heathwood Hall. I coached with one of them this year, and he would always give us a recap. I didn't get to go to very many games this year. I went to one postseason game, and I think I went to a Clemson game that they walked off here in Columbia, and a Tennessee game, but I didn't get the full effect of the hecklers there. But I love it. It's part of college baseball, and I know I received enough heckling on the road everywhere we went, so I love it.
Yeah. A couple more minutes with Joey Pancake. Back to Omaha. So, as you guys were out there so long, 2 years before you, and then your time, because you're out there for 2 weeks, you're paying taxes, basically you're living out there for so long. So tell us about the some of your favorite memories away from the ballpark, like the restaurants you hit. Maybe you went over across the river to Council Bluffs, perhaps. Some of the fun things you did away from the ballpark.
Well, actually, I was fortunate. Both of my parents got to come out. I had an aunt come out, my grandparents, and we went and had some good meals. I couldn't tell you any of the restaurants. They were local restaurants, but they had some of the best steaks I've ever had. I went out there 2 or 3 times to eat some steaks at one of the local spots out there, and we really just had a blast.
Did you make it across the river to some of the entertainment joints there at Council Bluffs?
I actually didn't. There were a lot of guys that did. I heard a bunch of stories about crossing the river, but I never did make it out there.
Yeah. So you're working with the Heathwood Hall team. What are you doing?
I'm an assistant coach to actually another Gamecock, Brian Busher. I helped him with the varsity team over here. The 2 years prior, I was the head B team coach. I had the middle school guys. We're trying to build a program over here to bring a winning culture in.
So they've got you. Has he got you handling the infielders and the defense, or working with the hitting? What's he tapping in from you?
It really depends on the day. I'll work with infielders most of the time. If we have some outfielders that need some work, I'll take the outfielders, and then we kind of tag team the hitting. Obviously, he had a really good professional career, making it to the big leagues. So I kind of follow his lead.
Yeah, he was really a heck of a player, and professionally, to make your living now that the professional baseball is behind you. How far up the chain, by the way, did you get in the minors?
I spent my last 2 seasons in High A in Lakeland, Florida. They've since restructured the minor leagues a little bit, but I was about 3 steps away from the big leagues, and it felt like even longer than that.
Yeah. Was it tough in those lower level minor leagues in terms of the bus rides we hear about and the accommodations and everything? I mean, you were used to really nice stuff in college. Was it a big step down in minor league baseball?
It really was. And we used to joke about that in the clubhouse my first year, because I played with guys from Vanderbilt and Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and obviously they have nice facilities and everything like that as well. And so we come from riding on a big custom charter bus to road games, and even flying to the longer trips to sharing seats on buses from the 80s and never flying, and sometimes having 10+ hour bus rides. It was it was a tough transition, but it was worth it. There was a lot of good times to be had on those buses as well.
Oh, I bet. Made a lot of friends. And so professionally now, to make a living, what are you doing?
I just started in April with Farm Bureau Insurance, and I was really grateful for the opportunity. It's a close-knit group, and I've gotten to know a lot of good people there as well.
Well, that's a great company, and you guys have got tons of agents and offices across the state, don't you?
We do. I couldn't give you an exact number, but we're all throughout the state, from the upstate down to the coast, and I've had a good time with everybody I've met so far. I get along with them great. So great group of people.
And what is National Pancake Day like for you?
It's more these days. It's more of just I open my phone to a bunch of notifications from social media.
Hey, Joey, did you know you hit a home run on National Pancake Day? Had you ever heard that?
I've heard that a time or two, and I still get reminded about it on that day every year.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you for taking time out to be with us. I know you're at a ball game right now, so we really appreciate it. Thanks for the memories of the World Series and your career, and good luck to you. I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all taking the time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Joey.
All right, Joey Pancake. I mean, just the name alone, it makes him stand out, but he was a heck of a ball player. I mean, I remember him quite well, slick fielding, though he did, of course, when you're playing shortstop, Chris, you're going to make errors because so many balls are going to be hit at you. And I mean, his fielding percentage was not overly great. You just look at the numbers. I mean, his career fielding percentage was .932. He committed 44 errors in 3 seasons at South Carolina. That's an average of 13, 14, a little over 14. Boy, that's not that bad at the shortstop spot. And you throw in the fact he played 186 games.
I was going to say
started 182 at South Carolina, so I wouldn't hold that against him.
No, I was going to say when he was playing, the Gamecocks were playing, 65, 70 games a year. I mean, those were some of the best teams, our states, regardless of what affiliation, what college team you root for. Those were some of the best teams I think we've ever sent out to Omaha. I don't think you can that point rather is not debatable with the winning streak they put together. And I love Joey's comments. You want to talk about self-incrimination? We're the team that let the city down.
Yeah,
that's taking a lot on your shoulders.
Yeah. That's a fantastic run for South Carolina, considering that the school as a whole had never experienced that kind of success from a team standpoint. I mean, all the way to the top, to the national championship. The team, the university had not experienced that. Its fans had not experienced it. I mean, they'd had some high moments, of course, as we've talked about before, with football here and there and a little bit of basketball here and there. And baseball was always very solid. And, of course, they had chances. Look, they had chances to win national championships under Bobby Richardson, June Reigns, and then Ray Tanner took them to the promised land. And so now it's up to Mark Kingston to try and do it again. And it's tough. I think Mark Kingston's doing a good job. I know people are nitpicking about things here, there, bunting and timely hitting and things like that. And that's justified. That's justified. You look at this Gamecock baseball team from this past season, and there's reason to pick apart their offense, especially in SEC play. If I read you the numbers, and I'll do it here in just a second, it was bad. It was bad for a program like South Carolina to have the kind of offensive numbers that they had in SEC play. Throw out those numbers outside the league. Even though they did play some good teams outside the league, we're talking, of course, they played Clemson and they played Texas and they played North Carolina game. They had a good non-league schedule, but still, you look at what they did in SEC play, and in the hitting statistics, they were at the bottom or near the bottom in just about everything. I've just gotten the new updated SEC stats. That's why this is fresh on my mind, because I was reading it the other day and I was waiting for a good time to bring this up, even though we've talked about it before. But just in SEC play only, the Gamecocks, in SEC games only, they had a team batting average of, I'll tell you in just a second. It's got to get to it. Here we go. 246.
Yeah.
That's next to last. Missouri was last. 246 team batting average. They did hit 80 home runs in SEC play, which put them among, about the midway point of the league. Arkansas hit 109 home runs in league play. The Gamecocks, I'm just looking at some of the other numbers. I mean, what saved them was their pitching. In SEC play, their team ERA was 3.80. So they were fourth in the league in pitching. Elite pitching. Kingston used to refer to it as elite pitching during the season, and it was. But, look who they're with. They're with, offensively, they were with Texas A&M. They're with Alabama. They're with Missouri. Surprisingly, Arkansas was only number 10 in hitting in SEC play, but that was 267. 20 points higher than South Carolina, but that was only good enough for 10th. Vanderbilt had the highest SEC mark at 297.
Well, and they were feast or famine at the plate, Phil. Whether or not they could put the ball in play, it was either a home run, which they hit, as you pointed out, 80, or they struck out. You look at their top 4 home run hitters in Eister, Allen, Clark, and Braylon Wimmer. These were guys that ended up hitting double-digit home runs, but also struck out combined almost 250 times this year. You just can't balance that, and you've got to find a subtle ground somewhere where if you're not hitting a home run, you've got to be able to put the ball in play. And that 246 batting average, I think, reflects that. And they didn't have anybody come close to hitting 300 this season. I best hitter at 279.
Yeah, they were last in the SEC in strikeouts. In SEC play, they were 14th. They were 13th in batting average, 10th in slugging, 13th in on-base percentage. Again, this is SEC games only. 12th in runs scored, 13th in hits out of 14 teams, remember. 10th in RBIs. 11th in total bases, 10th in walks, and 12th in stolen bases. That's
Yeah.
too many double-digit rankings out of a 14-team league. You're in double digits way too many times there to have a good offense in league play.
I'm glad you referenced the stolen bases, and I get it. You recruit to this, and that may be something that the coaching staff is trying to change going into next season. But as a team, South Carolina stole 32 bases. Vanderbilt's leadoff hitter, I think, has 48 on the season alone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just can't – they couldn't manufacture stuff either because they couldn't steal bases and trying to put people in play when you only hit 246, kind of hard to hit and run too.
And we all saw the troubles they have trying to get a bunt down. We won't even touch that subject. We'll come back with recruiting here on Sports Talk.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's weather forecast. A few clouds roll in, but we'll stay dry overnight. Our low dipping to 64. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. More clouds as the day moves along. Mild temperatures continue, a high of 83. Slight 20% chance of rain to go with it. Now, for the weekend, showers possible Saturday and Sunday. High temps remaining in the mid-80s. I'm Kevin Cohn with your On Point local weather.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. U.S. officials say 650 American troops likely to be kept in Afghanistan to provide security for the U.S. diplomatic presence after the Pentagon completes its military withdrawal. It is said to be largely done within the next 2 weeks, and several hundred additional American forces will remain at the Kabul airport until September to assist Turkey's troops providing security. Bipartisan group of senators reaching an agreement with President Biden on a $953 billion infrastructure plan following long negotiations. Search teams still digging through the rubble of that 12-story condo building that collapsed early this morning in Florida. 1 death confirmed, 102 people accounted for, 99 still missing. This is SRN News.
So you ever notice there's a lot in here while Business Bureau, they quality products and they behind their work. Now, I'm not into scare tactics, no way. But goodness, this is your home. I mean, it's your castle. Walk around it, take a look. If you see cracks in the foundation, just call TerraTech. They'll come out for free, no cost, no obligation. They'll tell you honestly if you have a problem or not. You can trust TerraTech to repair your home. You know I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Online, it's TerraTechInc.com or call them 791-8888. That's 791-8888 or online at TerraTechInc.com.
We've all come a long way together over the last year. Now we need everybody across Columbia to get vaccinated to put COVID behind us once and for all. COVID vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Everyone in the Benjamin family has gotten their vaccinations, even our youngest. Just like our family has done and like so many others across the Midlands, it's important to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. We're almost there. It's your shot, Columbia.
Hi, this is Marcia Clayman.
And I'm Karen Pickard. We're your hosts for the Positive Point on Aging.
We'll talk about aging gracefully and senior care every Tuesday morning from 8:30 to 9 o'clock a.m.
Join us right here on The Point for the Positive Point on Aging.
Brought to you by Oakley Village of Lexington.
Hi, this is Michelle Arnold, your host for Travel Buzz, every Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 100.7 The Point. We're here to make your travel dreams a reality. That's Travel Buzz every Monday morning at 9 on The Point.
Fran Halloran here. What am I looking for when I make a recommendation to you? I'm looking for integrity.
ethic, intentionality. When it comes to your mortgage needs, Greg McCoy from Simplified Mortgage Solutions needs to be your only call. There are plenty of national mortgage companies with fancy names and fancy schemes out there. Don't be fooled. Simplified Mortgage Solutions will meet or beat any national lender's proposal. Greg is local, and I love local. Born and raised in the Midlands of South Carolina, Greg will treat you as if you are his only client as you go through the mortgage process. Simplified Mortgage Solutions specializes in conventional, VA, USDA, and FHA mortgages. They can do it all. I trust them, and so can you. I've worked with Greg for a while now, and everyone I've referred to him has thanked me after the fact. Online, it's simplifiedmortgagesc.com or just call Simplified Mortgage Solutions at 803-722-6044. That's 803-722-6044, and tell them the Money Coach sent you.
Thought we'd let the theme music play there just a little bit longer because I'm still gathering information. Gamecock basketball staff is just handing out offers left and right. You want to play for the Gamecocks, Chris? I can get you an offer.
Trust me, Phil, if Carolina wants to bring me in as a basketball player, they've got a lot more problems than Frank Martin can fix.
One thing they're doing, man, they are offering people left and right on down the road, 24 class, maybe even 25 class locally. I mean, you give them credit for putting the offers out there and evaluating and trying to get involved with a lot more kids in state. I mean, actively, going after them, maybe more so than ever before. Maybe Frank Martin's changed his approach on that just a little bit, but still got to sign them. That's the main thing. And they got one in-state commitment who'll be with us tomorrow night. Zachary Davis will be with us on Sports Talk tomorrow night to talk about his commitment to the Gamecocks. Recruiting is brought to you by Seawells, and Friday is coming up. That's a great day to go to Seawells for the luncheon buffet because you know what they do? They really put together a great menu every day, but Friday's a little extra special. Like when I went there last Friday, they had a big old slab of roast beef cooked just the way I like it. I like it medium rare, and that's just how they had it. And then they had chicken, and they had so many vegetables I can't even recall. Let's see. I think they had some collards, and they had some potatoes, and was potato a vegetable? Yeah. They had potatoes, mashed potatoes.
Starch.
So what?
It's a starch.
But it's a
I don't
vegetable.
think it qualifies as a vegetable.
Like I've said before, if it's not a meat, it's a vegetable. I keep
If you
it
grow
simple.
it in the ground, I got you.
If it's not a meat, okay, it's a vegetable. And so what else did they have? They had collards, they had baked beans, they had that vegetable, mashed potatoes with gravy, and rolls and desserts, the whole thing. So tomorrow should be special. If you haven't been this week, I suggest it highly, 11 to 2 over at Seawells on Rosewood Drive. And, of course, you got plans coming up for a big event. You need the best in the catering business. None other than Seawells is the place to go. Seawells, 803-771-7385, SeawellsCateringSC.com, very best in the catering business. So in recruiting tonight, USC football staff had a busy June so far, camps and prospects visiting, capping it off this weekend with about a dozen official visits. That's official, unofficial, because, things can change with players coming and going off the list. One to follow is defensive end Tomiwa Durajai, 6'5", 255, Wilmington, Delaware. We have followed him closely. His teammate is Gamecock commitment quarterback Braden Thomas. He's coming in for his official this weekend as well. Durajai has taken officials to Arkansas, Georgia Tech, and Vanderbilt, unofficials to USC, Virginia, Duke, Georgia Tech, Rutgers, and West Virginia. He's getting closer to deciding on a school. He's down to about 5 or 6 he's really interested in. For him, the biggest thing is getting a feel for the places, figuring out where it's going to be the best fit for him personally. And he said the top ones probably are South Carolina, Georgia Tech, West Virginia, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas a little bit. Made a personal visit to USC in late April for the spring game And now this visit, he wants to do a deeper dive into the program to kind of get a real feel for how things are done and how they feel about him, which is apparently pretty serious. He's been hearing from Shane Beamer, Jimmy Lindsay, and Pete Limbo, and he's built pretty good relationship with those guys. He also likes the fact that they haven't used the commitment of Braden Davis with him, that they've recruited him on his own merits and not because the quarterback, his teammate, has already committed. He did say that Davis, he's not really pushing him. He knows what it's like to go through this. He's giving him his space, but they do joke a lot, he said, about the two of them playing together at South Carolina. He's going to name his short list of schools this weekend, and he's looking to make a decision in August before his first game in September. Others scheduled to join for official visits in Columbia this weekend include wide receiver Dane Key, tight end Oscar Delp, defensive tackle Nick James, cornerback Traquan Fagans, cornerback Chris Graves, defensive tackle Jamari Lyons, cornerback Nakai Martinez, safety Anthony Rose, linebacker Mason Thomas, and cornerback Keenan Nelson. 6'6", this is basketball, 6'6", Van Ellen Lubin of Orlando was offered by Clemson, rated a 3-star, ranked number 39, small forward nationally, 24/7 Sports Composite. He also has offers from Alabama, Virginia Tech, Florida, Iowa State, St. John's, USF, and others. USC offered 2024 6'3" Brandon Cummings of Lincoln Park, Pennsylvania, and 2024 point guard Jacob Theodosio of Ohio. Almost like Teodosio, but Theodosio. 6'7" Dante Bass of Savannah made an unofficial to USC Wednesday. He was at Georgia last week. He has offers from Virginia Tech, Georgetown, and Georgia. 2024 6'5" Cam Scott of Lexington was offered today by USC. He also has offers from Clemson, Wake Forest, Ole Miss, and Winthrop. Football now again. USC target defensive tackle Felix Hickson of Jackson, Georgia, will take his official visit to Virginia this weekend. Clemson offered 2023 running back Justin Haynes of Roswell, Georgia, 5'10", 185, 4-star, ranked number 3 running back nationally in his class. 2023 receiver Chris Lawson of Ridgeview, offered by Virginia Tech. USC offered defensive end DeAndre Martin, 6'5", 280, out of Durham. Duke, Florida State, and Tennessee, Virginia Tech. Those are some of his other offers. USC offered 2023 receiver Chris Culliver, 6'3", 178, out of Maiden, North Carolina. He also has Coastal Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Appalachian State. And yes, the Gamecocks once had a Chris Culliver, a cornerback out of Garner, North Carolina. Quite a good player, all SEC, well, safety. I think he was a safety. All SEC safety, and played some corner. And I think he played in the league for a little bit. He's a good player. Don't know if they are related, but got the same name. One-time USC target running back Tevin White of Stafford, Virginia, committed to Arizona State. Surprised they're taking any commitments considering what's going on out there right now. USC target linebacker Stone Blanton visited Louisville Wednesday. Bluffton defensive end DJ Aiken camped at and visited Georgia Saturday. He'll be at USC tomorrow, 7-on-7, and a possible visit. USC target cornerback Quantavis Gaskin, Hapeville, Georgia, offered by Missouri. One-time USC target. I thought they were going to go hard after this guy, but ended up not. Tight end Tyrus Washington of Leesburg, Georgia, going to announce July 7th for UCF, Cincinnati, or Arkansas. Defensive end Wilfredo Hebert of Cheshire, Connecticut, who had a USC offer, committed to Stanford. 2023 safety Elliott Washington of Venice, Florida, was at USC yesterday. USC target 2023 quarterback Dylan Lonergan, Snellville, Georgia, was at Georgia Tuesday. Clemson target tight end Cyrus Moss of Las Vegas, camped at Alabama Wednesday. Clemson target 2023 quarterback Arch Manning of New Orleans is making a 2-day trip to Georgia starting today. That's why, if you notice, you were in the state of Georgia and there was a shortage of dollar bills in the ATMs around the state. You know why? Nah. Arch Manning doesn't need the money. I'm just saying. But Georgia, they don't take any chances. They don't know he doesn't need the money. I'm just saying. I mean, I went to Augusta today to try to get $50 in $1 bills, and it said, sorry, all our cash has gone to Athens. I couldn't. Now I didn't understand it at the moment, but now I draw I put two and two together. Spring Valley defensive end Trey Peterson committed to Army, and defensive tackle from Spring Valley, Kai Teo, committed to Georgia Southern. Newberry receiver free safety Zach Chalmers named the top 6 of East Carolina. There you go. Coastal Carolina, Indiana, Liberty, Duke, Appalachian State. 2021 running back Zaire Scotland of Walhalla committed to Kennesaw State. 2023 cornerback Brandon Cisse of Lakewood took visits to Georgia State and Georgia Tech on Wednesday. Cisse. I don't want to say Sissy. I'm going to say Cisse. What would you say?
I think you're right there, but I'm not positive. But yeah, I would go Cisse until we're told differently.
Yeah. I should look it up, but I don't think there's any pronunciation guide out there for that. Some USC targets taking official visits this weekend. Linebacker Stone Blanton to Stanford. Running back Raymond Brown to Virginia Tech. Offensive tackle Ryan Brubaker to Vanderbilt. Running back Jalen Glover to Florida State, and I think he might be there already. Defensive end Davin Jackson to Coastal Carolina. Defensive end Quincy Wiggins to Auburn, and linebacker Carter Wyatt to Syracuse. Again, scheduled. These have all been scheduled. Who knows if they will make a change or not. On the Clemson side, targets making official visits this weekend. Defensive end Jihad Campbell to Texas A&M. Cornerback Caleb Coley to Vanderbilt. Cornerback Dalen Everett to North Carolina. Linebacker Jaron Kanak to Florida. Defensive end Jalik Kelly to Oregon. Defensive tackle Travis Shaw to North Carolina. That's a big one there from a Clemson standpoint. Tight end Jaleel Skinner. We have him scheduled to go to Miami. Receiver Brennan Thompson to Oregon. Defensive end DJ Wazolak to Southern Cal. And defensive end Anae White to Ohio State. There you go with what we have in recruiting tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. Available on our website, of course, sportstalksc.com, on Twitter. Use the hashtag STRecruiting. And a reminder to remember. And that is, you can always get us if you miss us over the airwaves. We stream our show on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Sign up and become a part of our YouTube channel. Be a subscriber to our YouTube channel. That's how you can get us if you lose us over the airwaves. Back in just a moment.
Life, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsiblysc.com.
Founders is offering a low-rate mortgage with up to $4,000 in closing costs to full-time hospital employees, honoring your frontline efforts against COVID-19. With no PMI, no origination fee, and no limit on the loan amount, you can't go wrong. Visit founders.com/HEC and apply for your hospital employee choice mortgage today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Founders is an equal housing lender and is federally insured by the NCUA.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut of Sports Talk here with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. What words of wisdom do you have for those hitting the water this summer?
Phil, collisions can be prevented easily if every vessel operator fulfills 3 major responsibilities. 1, practice good seamanship. It's the responsibility of every boat or PWC operator to take all necessary action to avoid a collision. 2, keep a proper lookout. Failing to keep a sharp lookout is the most common cause of boating collisions. And finally, maintain a safe speed. Remember, boat safe, boat smart.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment. The Southeastern Institute of Manufacturing and Technology at Florence Darlington Technical College specializes in sophisticated manufacturing services and workforce development training. The SIMT offers rapid prototyping, additive manufacturing, advanced machining, and business incubation services to clients from across the state and nation, plus social media listening services and rentals of conferencing and training spaces. The SIMT also houses an 800-seat auditorium, a conference center that can seat more than 1,200 for dinner or a luncheon, and numerous classroom spaces with state-of-the-art presentation technologies. Visit our website at simt.com or call 866-304-7468 for more information. The SIMT, technology to grow your business.
It's been a trying year for parents. They've been confronted with countless challenges and have always risen to the occasion. If it isn't too much to ask, the 97,000 high school student athletes in South Carolina have one last request.
Please, set an example.
Disorderly fan conduct at high school athletic events is on the rise. It increasingly involves parents. There's no question that parents are passionate. There's no question they care about their children. But at a time when we're all wound a little more tightly than usual, it's worth remembering this about South Carolina high school sports. Always be a good example. Stop unruly fan behavior before it starts.
This message presented by the South Carolina High School League and the South Carolina Athletic Administrators Association.
The future of golf is waiting for you at the Players Club. Rain, shine, or after dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Play or practice with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit maincoursesc.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
Okay, we're back here on Sports Talk. Get back to phone calls in a moment. 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Hey, I want to remind you, looking for a place to get away from it all here in the month of June, July, August, heading into the fall even. What a great time to go to the beaches in the early fall. Give Jimmy Smith at James Smith Realty a telephone call, 843-237-4246, or visit Paulie'sVacationRentals.com. Pawleys Island is a beautiful place. Chris just came from there. Pat's going to be going there. So you guys know what I'm talking about when it comes to Pawleys and Pawleys Vacation Rentals. And Jimmy makes it so easy, takes care of everything for you. He and his staff, they do a fabulous job, whether you want to just rent something for a weekend or a week or a month, or maybe you want to buy, maybe it's time to buy some property down along the beach. Jimmy Smith can help you with that, whether it's on the beach or inland. You know, he'll go inland with you as well. So you tell him what you need and let his folks do the work. 843-237-4246. That's 843-237-4246. Your perfect beach getaway, courtesy of James Smith Realty and Jimmy Smith. And if you're nice, he'll give you a baseball cap and one of these nice Under Armour sweat-proof T-shirts that have Jimmy Smith Realty, has Jimmy Smith Realty on the back. And
it's down on the swag.
I got a little bit of that. I got a little bit of that. To be honest with you, I'll wear it tomorrow if you want me to.
Yeah.
So you can
hey,
see
I
it.
found my. I just wanted to let you guys know today is my last day on the show. I've actually just seen my next career.
Oh, what's that?
Since there is a weather delay out at Omaha and some of the skies look ominous out there. I don't know when they'll get back to playing, if they will at all tonight. But NCAA baseball just tweeted out, you can tweet your rain delay requests to the DJ using either the hashtag CWS or Be the DJ. And their DJ is named DJ Silver Fox.
Nice.
So, I think that'd be a lot of fun being the DJ out in Omaha.
DJ David Pearson. The Silver Fox.
That's right. That's right. Very
Silver
nice.
Fox, yeah. All right, let's
DJ
get back
Korn?
to our phones. What you got, Pat?
Real fast. If that game hypothetically gets moved to tomorrow, once you submit a lineup, can you alter it between days? And where I'm going with this is UVA has that great pitcher. I'm assuming not available tonight. But if he's on his 5th day of rest tomorrow, would he be eligible to play, or would he be locked in?
No, I'm sure you can change it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
You're not locked in if it's rained out. You can change your pitching plans.
Well, that could be pretty big for that game.
That would
no
be.
doubt. That'd be huge for them.
Pat's always thinking about weird stuff like that. Let's go back to our phones, 888-898-2525. Billy in Somerville up with us next here on Sports Talk. Hello, Billy.
Hey, bud, it's Billy in Surfside Beach. What's up, Chris?
Surfside.
Billy, how are you, man? Good to hear from you.
Good to hear you.
Hey, Billy, you need to move up a couple of beaches and get over there to Litchfield and Pauley's.
I know, man. I'm enjoying it too much in Surfside. So my son, like I said, my son's down here playing football at St. James. So when I buy him a car, if he decides to go that route and go further south, I'll be down with it.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be down with it. So I mean, he's
All right.
but, hey, Phil, the Vegas odds came out, and I feel obligated to ask Mr. Kornblut and Absolute and Bergen as well. Clemson, Georgia, nothing changes. Clemson's probably going to get Justin Ross cleared here in the next week or so. Clemson opened up as a favorite. I look at that tight end, terrifies me from the transfer from LSU, but minus that, JT Daniels not being able to scramble. And Venable's defense. And, I mean, come on, Phil. That's a loaded defensive line the Tigers have got. Now, Georgia's equally talented. Who do you like? Here I'm looking at everything. Charlotte, North Carolina, that matchup. I know it's June. I'm lost with the dates. I've been working a lot. It's going on July.
You're talking about the Clemson Georgia game on September 4th?
Yeah, he's talking about today's day,
Yes,
June 24th.
Right, yeah, September 4th. Well, say this about Georgia. You know, they're going to come out and try and run the football because Zamir White is a terrific runner. And you mentioned their receiving situation. Okay, fine. They're going to come out with him and Kendall Milton. They've got, once again, a very talented offensive line. It's kind of a young line. Warren Erickson is their center, sophomore. Sawyer is the right guard, a junior. Schaefer's the left guard, a senior. McClendon's the redshirt freshman at right tackle, but everybody wanted him. Xavier Truss is the redshirt freshman, the other left tackle. Everybody wanted him. These are guys Clemson recruited. Truss goes 6'7", 330. McClendon 6'4", 300. South Carolina wanted him badly. That was Brian McClendon's family. They thought they had a chance at him. Weren't getting him away from Georgia. Sawyer's the veteran, 6'4", 325. You know, across the line, they go 305, 325, 330, 300, 330. And then you throw in their tight ends with Gilbert now probably stepping in at the starter at 6'6", 245. But then they bring in a five-star guy like Darnell Washington, 6'7", 265 as a freshman. John Fitzpatrick, 6'7", 250. I mean, he's been in the program a little bit. They are big and strong up front. And, yeah, I know Clemson's defense is big and strong up front too. I think you're just going to see one heck of a collision up in there. Now, you know, Daniels might not be the most mobile guy in the world, but he can sling it. All right. He came in and he lit a fire under Georgia's offense last year. You know, you talk about receivers. Yeah, they are down some at receiver. Kearis Jackson is their number one guy, and he played some last year. It is kind of a receiving core that is greatly, unknown. But, Georgia recruits well at all positions. And, they got some talent in there at the wide receiver spot. So, will that be – everybody's kind of pointing to that, Chris, from a Clemson standpoint and saying this is where Georgia's going to come up short. Is it going to be that big of a difference, you think, to swing the game heavily in Clemson's favor?
Wow. I still think Clemson's going to win the game, But I will say this, can JT Daniels, as Billy pointed out, can he stretch the field and test that Clemson secondary the same way that Justin Fields did the last time Clemson and Ohio State played the last game of the year for the Tigers? I just don't know. But you're right. JT Daniels came in and made that offense for Georgia look a lot different last season. But even the mental side of this, you would think Clemson's got the edge there because all the pressure is going to be on Georgia. Because what does Kirby Smart hear? Yeah, you've been good, but not good enough. Haven't won a national championship. Can't get past Alabama. And they lose to Clemson right off the bat. Here we go again.
They're probably cooked.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably cooked if they lose to Clemson. Clemson's not in the same boat as Georgia. They can probably rebound. I mean, Georgia may take another loss along the way. We'll see. That'll do it. Have a good night.
Someone will be right with you.
The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.